podcast with your hosts, Derek Nasty Settlemyre and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer, Riley Cote, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. This week's guest is forward with the Detroit Red Wings and some silky smooth mitts, Bobby Ryan. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Nasty Knuckles. What's going on, Nasty?
What's up, Regs? What are you saying, buddy?
This is it. First ever Kinsley's softball game tonight.
How'd it go?
It was t-ball, actually, not even softball, but it was interesting. It was interesting. Shuffling with 30 kids around the field, and
oh Lord,
oh man, it was something else. But how about you? You did traveling?
Yeah, had a good week, man. Went to me and last week's guest, Neil Little, went into Pittsburgh to see our good buddy. I call him a nephew, even though we're not really related. Colin Felix and the UMass Amherst Minutemen, and they won the national championship. It was amazing. We went to the semifinal game. They won in overtime, and Colin played well, played great, actually. They all did. Obviously, they won the national championship, but it's really fun to get to see him. You know, grew up with his family. Obviously, Chris Felix, the late, great Catman. I know how proud he would be, you know, of his son, and I know he's watching. So it was good that me and Neil got to go down for that game. And like I said, he played great. They played great, ended up winning the whole thing. So that was fun. And
awesome. He's probably pumped to see you guys there, hey?
But yeah, you know, the thing that really sucks is he knew we were there. We FaceTimed with him and everything.
Oh, you did?
In the afternoon on our way down. Actually, I sent a snap to him, and he said he was just taking his nap because they didn't play till 9:00 at night. So he was just laying there, and he sends a snap back, and he goes, "What do you say? That looks like two people that could get arrested or something, you know, tonight or something silly, like trouble coming or something like that." He knows us pretty well.
Oh yeah.
But it sucked because we couldn't actually go see him, obviously, with the COVID.
Oh yeah, right.
But it was cool. Saw Kim, his mom, and her new husband, and it was cool. It was really cool.
Nice.
So that was great. Came back though. I have to tell the truth. Men's league loss last night.
Oh man,
the first time we've lost in two seasons.
Ooh, that's crippling to the ego.
It was tough. It was tough, boys. No, it was a good game. Overtime, we lost. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It happens.
Yeah, you got to move on.
It's gonna make us stronger for sure, man.
That's it. What about the Fly guys? They're same boat.
I tell you, we talked last week and we said hopefully things are going to go the way we thought they would, and they just unfortunately they just didn't.
I think we say that every week. We're like positive it's going to turn around. Man. There's like some good energy coming, and then it's just like so close, and then just like a big fat disappointment of a game.
I mean,
oh man,
you come off a win. You know,
a huge win,
win,
must win,
a must win. Exactly. And Elvis and I actually went Saturday to the game. They won. And I'm like, okay, you know, they got Buffalo coming in who, again, we're losing players, but you know, and it sometimes teams like that they're the worst to play because there's a lot of guys getting a chance that want to prove they can play. And you know, they're going to give every single thing they have. And it seemed like the game was lost in about a 2.5 minute span.
Yeah.
I mean, they scored the 2 goals in 40 seconds to tie it. Then Ghost scored a nice goal in the rush coming down. And I think it was 3 minutes to go in the game. And they're up 3-2 and they lose 5-3.
Yeah.
And you're just, if you watched it, you're scratching your head. You're like, what just happened here?
They're trying to lose. This is like what it looks like.
Well, yeah,
finding ways to lose
we know,
games.
Yeah, we know that's not the case, but
no, of course not. No,
but it's mind boggling. Yeah. And I honestly, you know, and I know how, you know, why fans get negative and stuff, but I mean, we're a little bit different knowing the guys, and you just feel for them because
it's a terrible feeling.
You know, because I have people message me, they're not even trying. I'm like, trust me, man, they're trying.
Yeah, you never suit up in an NHL hockey game and not try.
And you know what? It's almost like you've seen it, Riles. You're almost trying too hard. You're trying to make the perfect play. You're just trying so hard. I'm not trying to give guys excuses, but I mean,
what it is like individual efforts. Everyone's trying. There is no real true synergy, I feel, on this team. At least right now. They show flashes of it. There's just no chemistry. So like they could all individually be working in their own lane. But as you know, there has to be some sort of cohesiveness, and there's not, especially at critical times of the game, but at critical times of the season. And that was it. I mean, it's like it was essentially their season on the line, and not saying that they can't pull off a miracle here, but the way it's trending, they're just not consistent enough. They're not consistent enough within the game, and they're not consistent enough from game to game. So you never know what you're going to get, which period you're going to, look like an all-star team, and then next you look like, the 30th place team in the league. So I don't know where you go from here. You just ride out this inconsistency. You've traded away a couple players here now. Obviously nothing significant as far as moves at the trade deadline, but they just look like a bad team at certain parts of the game. Just come unraveled. But you said no one's just not trying. It's just they're not working together as much as they could. 5-man unit. It's just like little pockets of effort that seem to be successful. So
I mean, it's tough to watch. And a few of the guys came by last week, and they're scratching their heads too. I just feel bad for them. It's not where we thought this was going weeks ago.
No,
when we started, and basically coming back to the season with the same team who was really playing well last year. Obviously, I mean, they made it. They almost made it to the conference finals, and you lose Niskanen, and the things have just kind of. I don't know what's happening. I'm not in there anymore, but I feel for the guys, and you just got to think something's not right there. I don't know what it would be, but
I mean, I think the only thing I can think of is just like say lack of leadership, and not saying that it's on one specific guy, but I just don't think there's enough core leaders. Like you look at the NHL teams that have won Stanley Cups in the last however long, right? If you want to go the LA Kings, the Chicago Blackhawks, the old Detroit Red Wings teams, the old Dallas Stars team, they had like 7, 8, 9 like core leaders, like where they actually ran the team, right? And go back to some of the teams we had with the Flyers, even you had like a good core group of veterans, right? That like this just led, led by committee. And besides G and Voracek, I mean, Brian Elliott is probably up there as an older guy that's a leader, but Niski, I mean, he was a jack of all trades, kind of master of none, but solid. He was a leader, right? You would say he was
for
a
sure.
Quiet leader.
He was great.
But again, you lose him, but there's to me, there's a few of those guys that they could have that just add that element of leadership. We talk about it with with Bobby. It's like it's that leadership is so important, and I don't know. I just don't see it. You see pockets of it, but when it's going bad, it seems to go even worse, and that's rains and pours, and that's seems to be what's happening. The losses are getting worse. It's not just like tight, hard fought games and then just lose by a sniff. It's like, no, it's got to be ugly. It's got to be like way the opposite way, but we'll see.
I was hoping the next game against Washington here would be, they'd come out jumping. It was such a deflating loss the other day. You could just see it on the guys. You could see it on their face. I mean, like I said, it really happened within a 3-minute span.
Yeah, it did.
3.5 minute span, but
couple brain farts and
I mean, it just you're just scratching your head. I mean, you're up, and I don't know. It's something's going on, but which way do you go now? Like if you don't get in, are you rebuilding? are you like, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. You better sign some amazing players in the offseason. I don't know. What do you do? There's not many available.
I'm sure some guys will be left unprotected.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're going to get picked up.
No.
So that money doesn't leave your cap.
Yeah.
So I as far as I know, I'm not a capologist, but if a guy doesn't get picked up in the expansion draft,
no, I think you're still on the hook for him.
You're still, yeah.
Yeah, he's on your team. Yeah, no, they got some soul searching to do for sure. You know, it's got to ride out the season, but hopefully, at the very least, like finish off with some jam. You know, at least to show some. You know, this is your last 14 games, and it's your tryouts for next year, if you will. You know, you're not going to go for another season like this.
Yeah, and everyone's like my boys, like guys are just like, they're done. I'm like, you never know. There is a chance. So
there is, yeah.
And like you said, there's a chance, but they got to get going.
Yeah, it's just
it's got to go now.
Yeah, you can't say this another week.
and Boston keeps losing. That's the thing.
Oh, I know.
Boston keeps losing. So I mean, they're opening the door there. You know. Yeah. And you beat them, in a regulation, and so it's
little teasers, little tease, little sniff, and then they just don't want it bad enough or whatever it is. But time will tell.
Yep.
All right, Nas, let's jump into our next episode with Bobby Ryan. This episode was presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Basketball teams are entering the final month of the regular season as they gear up for the playoffs. While some teams are locks to make playoffs, others are still fighting for their opportunity to chase the trophy this summer. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is putting you in the center of the action with a chance to turn $1 into $100 in free bets. Turning $1 into $100 is simple. Pick any basketball team to win their next game. And if during that game, the team of your choosing hits a 3, you bring home $100 in free bets. That's 101 odds on the team of your choosing to hit a 3, just one. They don't even need to win. This year, teams have been hitting threes at an unprecedented pace. So get in on all the action with DraftKings Sportsbook before this offer ends. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code KNUCKLES when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free bets if the basketball team of your choosing hits a 3. That's code KNUCKLES to turn $1 into $100 in free bets for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 years or older, Pennsylvania only, new customers only, restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Welcome back to another episode of Nasty Knuckles. I'm Riley Cote.
And I'm Derek Settlemyre, and we are so pleased today to have one of our really good friends, local boy, unbelievable player, Mr. Bobby Ryan. What's up, Bobby Didge?
Cherry Hill's own Bobby Ryan.
That's right, baby.
What's up, Bobby?
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm glad I finally got on. I made the cut finally.
Oh man, you've been on the list. You're just a busy man. This schedule's crazy, man.
Yes, it's nuts. Yeah. Well, my schedule just freed up for a little while, so we're good to go.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Tough break.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about what you're going through? I know it's a tough one.
Yeah, a little bit. We talked just before. I do, surgery tomorrow, so I actually got your text, and I was like, you might want to get me here before I'm loopy for the next week and a half. But going in to I guess reattach my tricep to the bone, so they got to go in and put an anchor into the bone, and just one of those freak injuries that you can't plan for, right? It just tried to get back and was probably playing through it a little bit, but had a routine practice with, I thought I was 100% if I'm being honest, and then a simple little body contact and stick lift, and felt it rip right off. So yeah, so oddly and no pain right now. I was telling Riley, I played 18 holes yesterday. I feel great. It's just there's when you jam it, the pain's so bad you could throw up. So go get it fixed, and then we got some time to be dad for a little bit here.
Yeah. Well, I know those guns you've got there. That tricep. I mean, it's going to take a little bit extra to get that thing reattached because I've seen those pipes, bro.
You guys know my dad, and that skips a generation.
Guys are overworked.
He's gonna have you going kettlebell action like tomorrow, right after the surgery.
I had a shoulder injury before I played a game in the league because my dad had me doing 80-pound dumbbell bench press all summer long, getting ready for camp. I'm like, I don't know if this correlates.
The kettlebell workout, and then he's got Clarky, pushing everybody. Yeah, go over there and try the kettlebell workout with Bob. Next day, guys are like, I can't move.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Riley just about died at Public High School. He couldn't finish.
I was like, what the hell is this? I'm a professional athlete. Kick my ass, man. Holy.
He was just there to sweat out the salt, and we gave him. My dad's like, every time a guy would come, my dad'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna get him today." I'm like, just put him through a normal workout. He would just amp it up, And meanwhile, every time I would do it with one of the guys, they'd quit, and I'd have to finish it by myself.
You gotta ease us into it a little bit. I was hurting for the next week, man. That was no joke.
It was like 100 degrees out too.
And
I think I was like 15, man. Maybe hadn't even started in the OHL yet. I don't know, but
It's in my memory forever.
That's what
that experience.
And completely burned out on working out. Now I can't even look at it. I can't stand them. I will never touch a kettlebell again in my life.
I was looking at the kettlebells he was using, and I was like, I probably couldn't even lift those things, the ones that he had. You guys are working out with my,
the beast,
my little garden snake arms here. But fuck, man, I'm like, thank God I'm just a pigeon equipment guy. I have to try and do this workout. I'm in better shape now than I was then, probably.
Yeah, you gotta be the most jacked equipment manager in NHL. By far. Let's not call it jacked, but in shape. You've seen some of the other ones.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Some guys let it go a little bit, but it is what it is. You're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
So
Bobby, I was going to say too, those old school hardcore workouts certainly didn't seem to affect your mitts. It affect the softness of them. I'm like thinking of
I got lucky there. That skipped my dad's generation. You ever see him try to stick handle a puck? He makes it square by the time he gets to the first.
It sounds like mine in my mitts.
Yeah, no, I don't know where those came from, but I got pretty lucky there.
It's so funny, Bobby. I have some guys that I sent you a picture a couple weeks ago. One guy that coached one of your roller roller teams when you were younger. Obviously you played a lot of roller hockey. Ritzy, he's on my men's league team, and he had me send that old picture. I don't know if you remember a couple weeks ago, but it's so funny. I play with these guys, and some of these guys played pro, like roller hockey, like in that out west there. You remember that it was on
the
ESPN?
RHI, Pro B,
But there's like these guys have like they're good players. Anyway, anytime your name comes, hey, roller hockey, Bobby, or someone will make a move. He played roller hockey. Patty Maroon, he played roller hockey. Look at the mitts. We have the best hands. That's what they're always saying. But I mean,
maybe something there. Maybe something there.
You can't argue with that, with the fact, to be honest with you, because I'll never forget Bobby Didge. That's what we call him, everyone. So when I say Bobby Didge, if people don't get mad at me, Tuna gave you that nickname, I believe. He was like a rapper or something. Was that who it was, Tuna?
I can't remember. I was like, it's the most unique nickname anybody's ever given me.
Every time we say it, I'd be like, hey, make sure you tell Bobby Digital I said what's up. And they're like,
yeah,
what? Who?
Yeah.
And I'm like, these nuts now, but really. But Bobby Didge comes to development camp, Riles. And I don't know how old you were, Bobby. What were you, 15 maybe? Remember you
I was getting ready.
Cage?
I was getting ready to go. Actually, I was 14. I was getting ready to go to Honeybake that year. Yeah,
that's right. So Bobby comes in and he goes through a practice, and they're doing end up doing one of those drills where it's the forward's coming back on one-on-one against the D. Bobby just absolutely turns this kid inside out. He'd just been drafted by the Flyers. I won't say his name. I know exactly who it was. But anyway, second round pick. Bobby just, I don't even know what you did, dude. I've seen you do it in NHL, but I mean, you're 14 playing with these guys that are, 4 years older. And Riley, when we have those camps, the place is packed.
Oh yeah.
Like they let the fans in and all you hear is, ooh.
Yeah.
And we were going, oh, like, holy shit. But anyway, yeah, those Mets are, they're not bad, Bobby Gage. They're not bad.
I've got crawled around the rink for 14 years because I've been able to stick handle. Can't skate, but can stick handle.
I beg to differ because I remember messaging you in the playoffs a few years ago. You guys lost in Game 7, heartbreaking loss.
Yeah.
And you came down you scored a big goal, may have been a game winner or overtime. I can't remember exactly what it was now because I'm so old and I'm losing my memory, but you came down and you outraced someone. And I remember texting you going, what a goal. And don't ever say you can't skate because you blew by those guys, man. And that's the truth.
You know what? I guess my top end speed is not bad. It's just getting there. So I probably have a half a lap warm up before my goal.
Right.
You gotta wind it up. That's it. Your crossover windups just takes a little longer than McDavid. That's all. He's just going a little quicker.
Close though.
Just a little bit.
Oh man. We actually talked to Patty Maroon a couple episodes ago about the same thing. It was his knock was always his skating, and he obviously has some pretty good mitts, some big body and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he was talking about how efficient he had to be and kind of learn how to just kind of like be in position and top of the circles in. I think where I've seen of you, but I've also seen what Nasty's talking about too. That speed that you don't seem to think you have, but there, but again, you kind of make do with what you got. And if you got the soft mitts and you work at top of the circles in and do your magic.
Yeah.
But
no, I think when you're, I guess, slower of foot, I guess for lack of a better term, you just learn to pick your spots a little bit better, right? Like,
yeah.
I think if anybody was watching the NHL today, like Mark Stone's the best example I could give you. Like he's nobody's going to call him fast by any means, but he is just always above the puck, knows where it's going. He's going to be a Selke candidate again this year, I think. So, when I'm not playing, even though he's younger and I got to watch him come up and kind of take off in the league, I kind of study him and see where he's going. But, when you do those things, the puck follows you. So, as I'm getting older, I'm going to try and do a little more of it.
Yeah. Cause I've seen it go the other way, and it was probably a piece of my style was just like going 100 million miles an hour, in every which direction. And I'm, you're always kind of like, you feel like you're chasing it, right? There's something to be said about, say being above it, being patient and kind of just like letting it come to you sometimes. But
when I get guilty of chasing, like chasing the play, trying to find the puck, at a speed higher than I think I should be playing at, I get the puck and I throw it because like I speed everything up. Whereas like what he's great at doing is being above the puck, finding that, that soft area and then getting in and making plays. Like if I'm chasing the game, I'm in trouble like that. Like I got to let it come to me a little bit and, try. And I really think I did a better job of it this year. Just, not a large enough sample size with the injuries and stuff. So try again next year.
Yeah, right.
For sure. I wonder too, Bobby, like, because you signed a 1-year deal there, like, I don't know if you had a chance to go anywhere but I'm sure there were teams calling for you. I mean, with you being on a 1-year, with you being on a 1-year deal this year, like I can only imagine teams are probably trying to hit up Detroit for you and you're like, shit, no, like you got to.
Yeah, I think there is some opportunity there. So, now I get to fortunately watch it go by.
Yeah. Well, you still got time left in this league, man. And I'm sure something good's going to come up for
Let's
you.
Let's hope so, fellas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
100%. Start recovery tomorrow right away, get through this stuff and hopefully be playing at 100% next year. Be nice.
Yeah, it would be nice, man.
So working backwards, going to your time in Ottawa, I think you've spent 6 years there, or maybe 7.
7, yeah.
Extended, amount of time. And
geez, that went by quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to believe you spent more time there than in Anaheim.
Yeah. I did, yeah. Jesus. Yeah, it did. It flew by.
It's crazy. Well, there were probably some days in the last couple that didn't fly by, but I know what you mean. But I'm shocked though. 7 years, man. Damn, I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either until they bought me out, and then somebody mentioned it to me in the meeting. I was like, shit, I couldn't believe it. It felt like it did not feel like 7 years when you all said and done.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Riles. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, for sure. And I know you ended, I think your last year there, was challenging personally and whatnot. But maybe walk us through leading up to maybe that last year in Ottawa, and then you as a player, but then you as a person, and then eventually you kind of taking care of business in your personal life.
Yeah, I think I went into that season really optimistic about the season, and it was DJ's first year, the new coach there, and actually it was a whole new training staff, top to bottom from the coaching standpoint. So I was excited about it. Had an okay camp, not a great camp, but just, scored in the first game, couple games, did okay. And then just started to feel the wheels coming off, personally. And then that kind of leads to professionally, I guess, when all that happens. So, something I felt like I was struggling with for a while, something I was trying to correct for a while, but just doing it on my own, right. To stop the boozing. But I would do it and do it great for 12 days, and then just have that one bad one that sets you back a month, really. Right. So, because things weren't going, and there's the youth movement in Ottawa, right. Which, you're getting passed over, you feel like, and then, on top of that, even, you're supposed to be like a leader for them and helping them. And when you feel like you're not doing that, I think generally you try to correct it. And instead of correcting it, I compounded it. Right. And you just can't do the right things day in and day out. So we were here in Detroit, actually, when it was my last day, and woke up in the morning, went to practice, even put the gear on. Right. And just not, and I had checked out. I got scratched a week before that, the first time I've ever been scratched, and came back to the lineup, was already checked out, mentally, and drinking, and not even every day, but just enough to really, really be hurting my career, and that's second to hurting your family life. So woke up, got on the ice, and said, I gotta go. If I don't go now from right here, I'm just gonna say I can do this again, right? And then maybe have a 2 good week window, and then you get a chance to go out on the road and you blow it again. There was going to be nothing positive until I figured it out. So called my wife from the rink, got in the car, got in the plane, and went, so, wow. Outside of that though, spent the next 3 months getting better, 30 days out west, really learning about myself, which was really actually, enlightening overall. So a good experience. And, did get back. I think I got 8 games in at the end of the year, and was feeling really good. The best I'd felt about my body, right? Because I had cleaned my life up. I had nothing to do but train, so I felt strong. But COVID kind of hit, and I missed out on the last 11 games of the season that I really wanted to play. But yeah, so we were the last game of the NHL last year out in LA, and wish I had known now that was going to be my last game of the Sen, because I scored and I felt good in it, but just kind of a bittersweet ending, right? And we had already sold the house in Ottawa, so we were packing up to move, and just didn't imagine we were never coming back. So it was a weird year, but looking back on it now this year, probably a very important year for the rest of my life. So,
yeah. I remember, obviously, everybody that watches hockey remembers when you came back and you get the hat trick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been more excited for someone. I was just happy you're feeling better, obviously, because we've been friends a long time, Riley, as well. But you get a hat trick, the team, just watching the team, man, it was just I'm not crying, you're crying.
Yeah.
That's you crying, not me, man. But I mean, just that, what a feeling that must have been, man.
Yeah, it was a culmination of and it was like right after 100 days sober. So that, was another milestone for me, making it to the triple digits. And I was like feeling good about it. And, for going through, I guess, all of that, this was like a gift, I guess, that somebody gave me, because it was just, you can't write that, right?
No.
Danielle was there. So the kids weren't at the game, but my wife was there. And like, by the time I got home, I was like, just I got to go to bed. Just like, I was raw. I was wrung out. I was tired. Like, I told these guys on another podcast, my shoulder blades were so sore and heavy from like the media and then answering questions. By the time I got home, I was like, I can't believe I got 11 hours. So I got to be on the ice again. Like, I was fucking for a 45-minute flush practice. I almost asked for the day off because I was so tired, but I figured I'd just taken 3 months off. They weren't going to give it to me anyway.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
And everybody,
thank you.
Everybody that knows you and is friends with you, they know what kind of guy you are, and everyone was just so happy. I mean, it was awesome. Like you said, you can't even write that. That's a movie, man. That's a movie. That's one of those movies. Riles is big on the Hallmark movies. So that's
man, that show never comes off my television. My wife watches the Hallmark Channel day long. And it's like the Christmas in July.
Yeah,
right. Damn it.
Well, see, Riley goes to bed at 6 every night, so that channel's got movies on in the day. So that's when you can watch it. That's his.
What you're up for, man. I gotta get my rest, pal.
Oh shit.
I was going to ask you, Bobby, having that experience and going through what you did, and then, going away, and you said, kind of finding yourself, is that something now with that experience? Do you think that like these conversations should be had earlier in guys' careers? Because I think there's a lot of suffering and pain that guys go through that is really unneeded at the end of the day. And there's a, misunderstanding of alcohol and, the party, and then where to draw the line, and how it, affects not just your performance on the ice, but your whole livelihood. But I feel like I've gone through my version of what you've gone through in my own way. But I just feel like it's just like there's such a disconnect. And I just keep seeing so many guys having to go through these, these real hard times. If we could maybe like find that intersection where we can maybe help these guys before it gets that bad,
Yeah, no, there's certainly that. I think the NHL has done a relatively good job in recent years. But you've played, when it is like, it's got to be hard for them coming into the room to do that same meeting every year, where guys that have been around for even 2 years and have seen that video about stuff, they're just like they're just so tuned out, and you're just, okay, where do I sign to make it known that I'm here? Where, you kind of make light of it, and I did that too, for sure. But like, you don't realize there could be somebody in the room that's like really listening, and it just gets skipped over because you want to get out of there after practice. So
right.
I think that there's got to be a better avenue of ways for guys to reach out. That would be one. And then I think there's just got to be a better understanding of that false bravado or the machismo that like it has to get overlooked a little more. Like, guys have to be willing to help themselves. For a long time, I should have made the call for sure, but I was like, no, I can do this on my own. Or what is so-and-so going to think of me? And like, I played in Canada, so I knew the media was just going to be awful. And I probably would have made the call earlier if I had been able to overlook those things. So, that would be the biggest thing for me, is guys have to get over that hurdle. And I don't think there's any way to help you get over that hurdle, right? That's a personal thing. So I would say the NHL has done better though, for sure.
No, that's good. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, being around it for so long, it's like, it's also like, it's kind of, I don't want to make it like the league look bad, but I don't mean it that way. I mean, it's like what we do as guys, like it's like, hey, look, this part of the schedule, hey, we got a night, we can let our hair down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's kind of like what you do, but like you said, if there's someone that's, maybe they're hiding it. And we've known guys that are, Chris Tarian was on with us, and he had a few stories, and there was a couple we actually didn't put on because he's writing a book, but, guys hiding it,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, okay, we got a night here, we're going to go out. But, you know, some guys, it's like, and who's really going to say in the room, you know, it's good what you did, because some guys that probably is going to help someone say, hey, like, I need to step up here. And they could be afraid, like, oh, I don't want guys giving me shit or, you know, whatever. But, which no one probably would anyway. But I'm just saying it's kind of I don't want to say the culture, but it's just what you do as men, even men's league guy. You know, after the game, everybody wants to have their beers. But good for you for recognizing it. And it's tough. I know it had to be tough on you, man, because obviously we talk a little bit. And it was just so glad where you're at. And like you said, you're feeling great. It's awesome.
Yeah. And hopefully it just stays behind me, and it doesn't. I mean, like, that's the thing too. It's going to be every day for me, right? Like, when hockey's done, I still gotta battle it. So, but I got a good support system. I'm lucky. Got a lot of people around me that are helpful, and you know, to touch on that for a second, but like the amount of support from the league, like the players, you know, guys that I don't really particularly know, but played against for years, would reach out and congratulations, like whatever it is, congratulations. Like, and that awesome. That helps you be affirmative, right? When you can be affirmative with things like that, that's huge.
Yeah, no doubt. And how do you feel mentally and physically? I mean, there's got to be obviously a huge reward outside of just being sober, right?
Yeah, it's nice this year to go to the rink and not be worried if the bottle of wine was going to hit me. Like if it was if I was just going to, like, there's some days where you have a bottle of wine at home and you feel great on the ice, but the next, you know, those days where you're like, God damn, I'm mentally foggy. I'm off. Hands are a little slow. Like, I don't have any of that anymore. And I love that. Like, it's been too good going to the rink, knowing that my aches and pains are from just hockey. Right? Like, there's nothing compound. They're being compounded by yourself. So it was the best I've ever felt. I wish the year could have ended differently for me, and I was kind of gearing up for a long playoff run somewhere if that came. But you know, it is what it is. It's maybe punishment for all the stuff I did wrong for a couple of years, and get another chance next year.
Yeah,
that's right, man.
That's it. I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
You know, because it's always sad that guys have to go through that hardship. But I think when you talk to guys like yourself, it usually sounds like it's the best thing that ever happened to you, in a sense, where you kind of find yourself and you find your wellness and that, you know, that sweet spot. You got a family and you know, the meaning of life, I guess. Right. I mean, you kind of find these things in the darkness. So
100%.
Glad you addressed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So how we work backwards again into Anaheim, and I know you were originally drafted, in the first round, second overall, and I believe five seasons there, maybe up and down early with Portland. But talk about your time in Anaheim. I know you had some highlights there and some good seasons there. I think 4 30-goal seasons in a row and years.
Yeah, I got lucky. It's really weird when you like drafted, second overall, you're generally drafted by a team that's 29th in the league, right? And that was not the case that year. Like I get to camp and I was like, I ain't making this team. I was like, I gotta outplay Timu, Getz, Pairs. Like there was just no way, right? And it was after the lockout in 2005. So that weighted lottery system kind of moved Anaheim into that spot. But I had a great time there, man. Like I spent the first summer back in Jersey, and I was training with Downs and a couple other guys over at the Flyers gym, and then half with my dad kind of thing. So I was around and gearing up, and then I got hurt at the World Junior camp going into the NHL camp. So never even got on the ice my first year there. I think I skated once, and they're like, okay, you're cleared to play, but you're going right to Owen Sound. So by the time I did get in, it was like, there was another thing is they weren't going to keep me to play third or fourth line, even though I could have done that spot duty. They were like, when you're here for good as a top 6 guy, and you got to go earn that. So I was like, personally, I was like, okay, well, I've played more playoff games in the AHL than I ever played regular season at that point, because I would get called up after juniors. We'd go on a pretty good run, and then I would start over again in juniors for 2 years. It was just a pain in the ass. But when I finally did make it, I broke in. Getz and Pairs were coming off the cup year. So we had 6 years there. And, for the better part of 4, I played with those guys, and like, I don't think for me personally, I could have gotten better line mates for the way that I played, right? Like Pears did all that dirty work in front, was unbelievable off the rush as well. Getsy's an all-world passer, I think we all know. They were just missing a shooter, and I didn't necessarily think I was a shooter. I had been a playmaker through juniors and a passer. So they were like, have you ever played left wing? No. Well, figure it out on the fly. Here you go. And
pretty good line mates to learn on the fly too. That's great.
They had to cover me for a year as I really kind of learned that position. It's not, you guys know, it's not drastic, but it's enough. You're playing the whole game on your backhand now. But they needed a shooter. So Randy Carlo just said, you shoot and learn how to take the best one-timer you can. So I worked at it pretty diligently, and it paid off, with 4 good years there. So that was a tough trade. I didn't see that one coming. We thought for sure that next season would happen because I would have been coming up on free agency, but that one kind of came out of the blue. I was sitting in Idaho when I got that call, and looking back though, I think everybody should experience playing in a warm weather city. Like there's nothing better. You'd surf in the morning and then go to practice. It was incredible.
Wow.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
The schedule.
Hey, Riles, you mentioned, we were talking earlier this morning about the goal where he scored with someone else's stick.
Yeah.
Was it Mikko? Was it
Mikko?
Mikko,
right?
Yeah. What happened there?
So everybody was like, you should be in the box. Like, you should have a penalty. You shouldn't be. I was like, the only person that should be in the box is Koivu. Like, he stole my stick out of my hands in the battle. Like, we were in this corner thing and my stick was in my hands. I was kind of on the outside of it, and all of a sudden my stick was gone. Like I had no clue. And you can see me in the video, like, what the fuck? What just happened?
Houdini.
Yeah, like I had no clue who took it either. I didn't know it was Koivu. Like, I played with Corey Perry, so for all it could have been him.
Yeah.
like you guys know, he's grabbing everybody and anything that's around him. And
right.
Anyway, I stepped out. We ended up winning the battle off the wall, and then went D to D. And I still had I was like, okay, I'll go change. And I looked down, and there was a twig there, and did not know that it was Koivu's until I picked it up, and I held it right-handed. And as I was just turning my head towards the net to see what was going on, to see if I could get to the bench. I think it was Tony Lidman just had like a point shot that went right on, like you could not be more on the spot than I was. And like, I just put my stick on the ice and one timed it back in. So every part of that was a fluke. And then, the arrogant 24-year-old, I held the stick up like that.
I love it.
That's, of course, I was just trying to show Getsy and Pears what I did. And like, we were laughing, and then all of a sudden they're challenging the goal. They're all calling for it. And I'm like, line up and drop the puck. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what the rule is. This might be coming back. So, Koivu had to come grab the stick, and he's bitching and moaning. I was like, well, if I'm getting a penalty, he's coming with me. Like, this is a coincidental. At the very least, I was like, fuck that. I am not taking a penalty. Number one, that's a highlight reel.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Chalk that up. We're going to be watching that at my retirement party. So, yeah,
that was awesome.
Very weird goal. That's for sure.
Oh, man.
So the goal stood, right? There was no.
The goal.
Yeah.
So, the ref was like, I don't know what argument he's trying to make. Like, he's like, it's just a fluke goal. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Like, So goal stood, and now every podcast I get on, somebody brings that one up.
Well, Riles mentioned this morning. I'm like, oh, we gotta say something about that. I'll never forget you just going, look.
I popped your name in Google there, and that was one of the first things that came up. So like, oh yeah, I remember that. It was like 2010. It was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. God, we're getting old, boys.
Yeah, I know, right?
Tell me about it, man.
2010. That was, we were in Vancouver, me and Nasty, for
that's right.
Team USA in 2010.
We sure were, man.
Oh yeah,
that was a trip.
That was fun. That was fun. We won every game till the end.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it was a great 2 weeks. So
it was
awesome.
Yeah, I wish it was longer. Actually, like it was the most fun I ever had playing hockey.
Really,
it's up there. Yeah.
And Nasty says it all the time, but he also says that everything is the best time he's ever had. So I wasn't sure if he was being serious or not.
No, I'm serious. That was awesome.
I can imagine though. Yeah.
You know,
he had more fun than the players.
I bet.
Probably. You know, like when you're growing up and you watch the Olympics, you know, it's awesome. And then I just remember it hit me really when we went to play that first game and I got on the bench and I'm like looking around and I'm like the Olympic rings and I'm like, this is the Olympics, man.
Yeah.
Like this is, I had chills and, you know, I'm not playing, but you know, you're with the team and it's just, God, I mean, it was just, it was the greatest, man. And like I said, we won every game until the gold medal game and could have won that game. Obviously you could have, should have, would have, but
shit.
You know, it was.
Could you imagine though? Like we got spoiled that it was in Vancouver, right? Like doing that. Because could you imagine being in Pyeongchang? Where was the next one? Pyeongchang? No, that was the last one.
Yeah, if you're going across the world, like
yeah,
no, I mean, where they're not
Vancouver must have been awesome for that.
It was incredible. The city was it was electric. Every part of it was just the best hockey experience I've ever had for sure.
It was awesome.
Spend any time at the Roxy?
You or me?
I don't know either of you.
I've told this story. I'll tell it real quick. I'll shorten it. We had a day where we practiced. For some reason, we didn't play the next day, and I got myself in one there and kind of lost time. And I had been saying hello to the same guys. I would go through we had to go through like 2 sets of security with your thing and all, you know, you had your credentials. And so this one gentleman I knew, he was from Chicago. I'd see him every day. And I came cruising back to the to the Olympic Village. It was probably 6:15 in the morning. And I mean, I must have looked like hell because I see this guy and he thinks I'm on the team, like playing, because it doesn't say, it just said, you know, Team USA hockey.
I remember this story now.
Yeah, he's looking at me and he goes, "No, man, come on. We got a game today." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What's up?" And he goes, "You're just getting home. I can tell." And I'm like, How do you know I'm just getting home?" And he goes,
you out.
He goes, "You don't look good, man." And I said, we don't have a game today and I don't play on the team. I'm just like one of the staff members. He's like, "Oh, okay, man. We gotta win, you know." And I'm like, this guy thinks I look bad. I must really look bad today.
The other one was, you know, without naming any names, they were like, "Okay, day off, you know, but treatments at the Village for injuries are at this time." We have, and I think we had the room or we had the facility or whatever for an hour, and guys were showing up. More like one guy was showing up in the clothes that he wore out from the night before without having gone back. So it was like, man, go put the USA tracksuit on or something. Like hide it a touch. But yeah. But there was quite a few of those there during that tournament that filtered through. A couple good stories.
I think we played Finland. Why can't I think of the goalie's name? He was in Calgary. Was it Kiprasov?
Kiprasov, yeah.
Was that who it was, or was it Nabby? I can't remember. No, he's not finished.
It was Kipper.
It was Kipper, and Riles, the boys just jumped on him. I mean, the first 3 shots were in the net. I mean, we were up 4-0, 5. Like I don't know the exact time, but I mean, we were literally up 4 goals like that. And it's almost like you could kind of relax, obviously you could never relax, but it's like, whoa,
it's a good feeling.
It's a great feel. Like, wow. Like, I think he may have got N1 last night. I mean, that's what it looked like. And I don't know that. I'm just kidding. But it was like, we jumped all, I said to Timonen after the game, I'm like, "Oh, I think your boy might have been out last night." He goes, "I don't know."
Watch out. Those Finns like to get after it.
Yeah. That was like Timo and Saku stayed in Vancouver afterwards and just hung out.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Extended.
Like, well, we'll come back when the rest of the team goes back, right? I mean, they had to play the bronze medal game or whatever. But, I think Team Finland might have had some fun for the rest of the trip. Yeah,
they won. They won the bronze. They won the bronze.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Kimo was like, he's like, I almost would rather win that game than lose the gold medal game. That's what he said. He's,
That's a good point. Yeah. Cause it was a shit night after we lost. Right. I mean, we ended up getting over it and having a good time. Cause like, it was hours after that. I think I had a 4 a.m. bus to go. I was going to pick up my girlfriend, now my wife, but like going to pick them up and say goodbye. And like, it was literally like, I don't think we slept much, but we, gave each other high fives, and it was like, I'm playing Paul Stastny, tomorrow night in Anaheim. It was like, shit, you go from the gold medal game, then I'm driving on the 5 freeway to play Colorado on a Monday night. I'm like, fuck me.
What happened?
Yeah. I was like, God damn, what a difference 48 hours makes. I think we got cobbed that game. We had 9 guys from Anaheim in the Olympics. Like, wow. We were done for the year. Yeah, we didn't make the playoffs that year, and we had a very good team, but I was exhausted after the Olympics for a little bit there. I don't know about anybody else. And I played less than them. Some of the other guys on Canada, Gets and Pairs and Prongs and all those guys. Like I was fucking tired, man. I gotta be honest. So, yeah. But good memories.
Good, yeah, very good memories. It was a good time.
You mentioned Teemu, and I grew up in Winnipeg watching the Jets, and Teemu Selanne is obviously a big time star there. But as I followed his career as he moved on and everything like that, and hear stories and stuff like that, I'm kind of fascinated with him just as a hockey player, with being such a high level hockey player, but then just seeing him as an individual, as a personality. Talk to us about Teemu and how he was for you as a leader, and what it was like to play with a guy like that.
I got lucky. I had a lot of I came into a very veteran team. They just won the cup. Teemu was actually mulling over retirement that next year, and I think he came back in January of that year. But he's just a consistent example of what doing it right is, right? Like he's guys get on me now because I'll never take an optional skate on game days, and I learned that partly because Randy made me skate, right? But but partly because how could I take an optional if Teemu Selanne was? Like he was, he was there every day, ready to go. And at 38 years old, he's got 3 plates on each side squatting after games. And you're just like, God damn, this is what that kind of excellence, this is the kind of work ethic you have to have that. So I got really lucky. And on top, he's just a great guy, right? Like he loves to be around the ring, very, very light and, very good in the room. So I got really spoiled with him for the better part of 5 years. Actually, probably, more like 6 years, I guess, overall. Play with him on a line sometimes. Loves to kind of design plays and ways to beat guys. And it's just a very astute hockey player. So, very fortunate that I got to come up under that. And then, you throw him in there with Saku, who came later, but Scotty Niedermeyer, Chris Pronger, Dougie Waite, Todd Bertuzzi. I had a lot of really good guys and examples of what it takes to be at that level for a long time in front of me.
Yeah,
nice.
I've never heard a bad word spoken about Selanne, man. I was just he's the greatest.
He is. Yeah, certainly is.
You have any Prong Daddy stories? We had Prongs on not too long ago.
Did you?
Yeah, we had him all worked up. He's all fired up.
I had never done practices at 10 o'clock in the morning before, right? Until the NHL. And I think you heard at 9:50, I was like this, right? Ready to get on the ice. I was 3 o'clock practices in juniors.
Yeah.
You could have breakfast club or whatever, but that was fuck all. So it was I was learning to be a pro. And I just wasn't a morning guy. And he heard me say I wasn't a morning guy, and I got this one. So I was like, oh fuck. And anytime he talks to you, you're like, oh man, what
I do?
Yeah. And he's like, you're not a morning guy? No, not really. And he had heard me say it, so I couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel great, man. Cause I had never drank a cup of coffee in my life. But these guys were running on 4 by 10 o'clock. So, and now I am at 35. I'm or 34. I'm I'm that guy. 2 espressos before I get out of bed, guy. But he's like, you better fucking figure out how to be a morning guy real fucking quick. I'll tell you what, this is it's a nighttime league at games, but you got to be fucking ready when that puck drops this morning. And I'm just going, okay. Like, so I mean, he always used to yell at me about coming back to the puck because like I would just stretch to the far blue line and be like, all right, we'll put it on my tape and I'll get it in. But you know, I was like, Getz and Paris can go back for it. They're a lot better at entering a zone. Like I'm the spread it out at the blue line guy, tip it to one of them and then go. And I could hear him. I would get off the bench. He'd be like, tell Bobby Ryan to come back to the fucking puck. And I'm like, you know, I'm 20 years old. I'm going, tell Prongs no. Like, no, I'm not doing it. Like, so it would be like just
too much work.
Thing. Yeah, it's like, oh man, what? Like we're going that way, and you want me to come this way to go back there? Like, no, I'll be at the blue line. So I enjoyed him, man. He was a fun guy. He was entertaining for sure.
Yeah, I remember one of his first days, first month of the season. He'd come, like you said, I will say this about Prongs, and I think we talked about it, but such a pro, like come in, he did everything the right way, always in the weight room, you know, just kind of maintaining more than anything. But it was funny because he comes in, we had a lot of young guys, and he came in one day and he would call me fool. He would, yo, fool, what are the kids doing in here? And they're like all looking, they're just waiting for him to give it to him. And he's like, let's go, boys, upstairs, let's go. And they're like, they're kind of like you, like, oh, it's early. And he's like, let's go. And these guys are shuffling, running up the steps behind him, you know, and he's got them working out. But that's what he did for the kids, man. He kind of, he was just trying to teach them how to be a pro, which.
Yeah, he's a real good example too, day in and day out of taking care of your body. Like he spent a lot of time. I don't know how old he would have been when I played with him, because he had a couple years after that. But he spent a lot of time. Like, and now I'm starting to understand that more as I'm getting older. But he spent a lot of time doing things right just to get the body ready for practice. And, I got spoiled, man. A lot of good examples for me.
Yeah, some big names you played with there in Anaheim.
Yeah, that old school leadership is. I don't want to say it's outdated. I don't think there's necessarily as much of it as there was in the past, especially when, you know, you talk about the guys you play with, that era of guys that you had like probably 8 or 9 leaders in that locker room. I don't want to speak for every team. I just feel like that old school, like traditional leader there's less of them. There's still a bunch of them, but
there's still a few, but now kids come in at 19 and are given the keys, and you can't say a thing to them, right? Like you can't say anything, because it's like, and I took things very personally at that age too. But like, not only do they take it personally, it just rolls. Like they'll get mad at you, but then they'll forget about it. Where like one of the things with guys, like young guys would come in, and if you had to be there, absolutely be there at 9 o'clock for a 10 o'clock practice, they would roll in at 8:58. And like, meanwhile, you know, when I started, if I was there at 8:30 for a 10:30 practice, I was the 7th or 8th guy there. Right? Like 2 hours before. That's changed a lot. Now it's like they come in, they spend 20 minutes getting ready, 20 minutes hanging out, 20 minutes upstairs and go. And that's a lot different. So I try to just harp on guys, like, come in, talk to the trainers, go see the equipment guys. Like stuff like that goes a long way. And I think that kind of stuff is really leaving the game. I've noticed a big shift in it, right? Like I would always go, I think it's important. Go have a coffee in the trainer's room, chat them up, see what's going on. Like I was just coming in and say my arm hurts today, and then you get treatment and fuck off. Like it's important to be around, I think.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite things, was in the morning, the boys just coming in and having it. Like Riles said, he spent half his career in my office, just because we were good buddies, and the guys would come in. I remember telling a story about when Hitch was coaching, and I was still with the Phantoms, and there was like 8 guys in my office, and he walked by and goes, "What are you guys doing in there? That's the Phantoms guy. Let's go." And they're all like looking at him, and Jeff Carter's like, "Beat it, Hitch. Jesus." Sorry, Hitch.
You would have been a great guy for me to have as a younger guy, because you were already on your second red line by the time I would get to the rink at 8 o'clock. So you're just you're hearing noises outside. You've got so much caffeine in your system. You could have woke me up before practice.
I blame your dad getting me those drinks. Jesus, bouncing off the walls.
I would show up to a game in Philly with Ottawa, and like there's like 350 milligrams of caffeine in there, or whatever. I don't know the unit of measurement, but it's a lot. It's like 4 coffees. Yeah. So, but he would walk by with like a 24 or 48 pack on him. Like, where's the Senators locker room? And I'm like, how did you get down here? And he's like, I got this pass. Clark gave me this pass. He just walked right through the Flyers. Yeah, I mean, you've seen him down there. Like, right. All of a sudden he's standing, and then Brian Murray comes out. He's like, "Hey, Brian Murray." Brian Murray's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Like, it's my dad. He's literally standing in our locker room. I'm like, you can't do that. It's the National Hockey League. He's like, "This says I go anywhere." I'm like, okay, all right. Who's going to stop him over?
Right. Who's going to stop him? And plus, it would have been great if you turn around, your old man's on the bench. Fucking having a look-see, you know.
The best part was because you used to hook him up with shit. So he would he shows up to my first NHL game in a Flyers tracksuit. I'm like, God damn. And he would wear the Flyers tracksuit pants right into my Sens locker room. I'm like, this guy's fucked.
That's awesome.
Oh man.
Oh, that's so good.
Hey Bobby, I know you and Nasty have some stories with playing some hoops back in the day, some street ball at old Clarkie's gym.
Yeah.
Nasty was kind of bringing it up earlier.
I was thinking about that. Yeah. It was Bob Clark's old gym, so not the new one, but over in Haddonfield. Oh no, that wasn't Haddonfield. That's Cherry Hill, excuse me.
Close. Yeah, you're right.
But they had like a Tuesday or Thursday night men's league. I couldn't remember. And like I had wanted to play in this league for years, but they were like, "You're just too young." And then finally, I think I was 17, and then they finally let me play going into my NHL draft year. Because after I got drafted, everybody's like, "No, like, no more."
Exactly. You're not playing.
Who was it? So our team was my dad, and my dad's a pretty good ball player, actually. But Nasty, who is nasty, hell of a point guard. Me, Homer. And a couple other guys. And Homer wasn't there to play basketball. He was there purely to bump into people and sweat.
So he just liked to run. He literally just wanted to run.
He would get out of the game and be running up and down the thing.
Yeah.
And then, I wasn't great, but you were so good at point guard and moving the ball around that you used to have this fake where you would act like you were pissed off and then toss the ball in. What the fuck? And then the ball would come. And I remember he buried me right in the side of the head one time because I started to see what he was bitching about. I was like, what's he complaining about? And I ended up catching the ball afterwards, but I was like, oh, all right. So he's deceptive.
Put it in the basket. One time, Riles, I don't remember exactly what had happened, but guy kind of obviously I'm not very big, but it was actually a good league, man. Like there were some good basketball players that played college and older guys, but a mix kind of. And anyway, this guy kind of laid into me pretty good, and Bobby's like, "Watch this, I got him." And I'm like, "No, it's good. It's good. No, I'll get him. You need this guy in the thigh. You act like it was an accident." I thought I thought they were going to call the ambulance in to carry this guy up, but he got him so good. He's like,
Charlie horse.
Just watch this.
Just knew. Yeah, I wasn't
prison rules, right?
Prison
rules there.
Yeah, well, it was.
Well, you got him.
You weren't taking a shot at my point guard.
plus, Bobby's dad's on the court and Homer. So guys were a little intimidated. I'll never forget. Homer loved to play basketball. We all know that. We used to have to play every day, rain, snow, 110 degrees. He made us play. Guys would see him coming downstairs and scoot out the doors to go home because they didn't want to play, right? So that's how I lost some of my bottom teeth and whatever. But anyway, we're playing this team, and Homer loved playing ball, but he doesn't quite know all the rules. So this guy actually set a clean screen on him. And Homer's got a blind spot in his eye from when he played, and he can't see going to, I think it's to his right. And he goes, and the guy was a big man. He went right into him and knocked Homer right to the ground because he never saw it coming. And I'm like, oh
no.
Shit. And Homer looks at him, but what really set him off was the guy goes, "Part of the game, buddy."
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
Worst thing you could have said. Sure enough, guy takes a shot. Whatever, we get the rebound, go down. They're coming back the other way. I think I took a shot, missed it, This guy gets rebounded, long outlet pass, and this dude is all alone. Homer's 15 feet, at least 15 feet. This guy takes the shot, Riles. It's out of his hand, hits the rim. Next thing you know, Russian sickle from Homer. I mean, right in the ear. This guy does a 180 onto his head. So he fell off the court, and it's like grass and dirt. He's got dirt all over his face, and he jumps up, and I'm like, here we go. And the guy leans in at Homer and Homer never moves, just looking at him.
Yeah.
And then
the Kobe no flinch.
Yeah, right. No flinch. And the guy's like, "Whoa, what was that?" And he goes, "Part of the game, buddy."
Part of the game.
and the best is Homer had already had you get 6 fouls in that league. We didn't have any extras that day, I think. And he had about 8 fouls. And someone goes, "How many fouls does this guy have?" And so finally they gave them a technical free throw every time he took another foul, which was probably about 10 more.
Yeah.
But the ref,
yeah.
the ref was so afraid to kick Homer. Should have been kicked out.
Oh, for sure.
He absolutely 100%. Russian sickled the guy as hard as he could. And then so afterwards the ref was like, "Oh, he went for the ball." And in my head, I'm like, that ball had already hit the rim.
Yeah.
So Homer, we get a timeout or whatever, halftime, and Homer says to me, "Probably shouldn't have done that." I was like, it's part of the game. What are you gonna do? But I'm just glad it wasn't me. Because I was
I'm not going back to jail for this league.
Yeah, right.
I don't blame you, pal.
Oh man,
it was comical. Yeah. It was comical.
It was, yeah. It was every Tuesday I think it was a Tuesday night league, and every Tuesday workout I'd come in and be like, "Dad, we got a game tonight. Maybe go easy." And he's like, "No, we're not planning your summer training for the NHL around Tuesday night men's league." But I was like, I had waited so long to be in that league. I went from the scorekeeper to
that's right. That's right.
I just kept moving up or whatever. And I was finally in the league, and I only got one summer, and it was 12 games or something like that. And I was this meant more to me than the draft. I was so pumped up playing this league, right? I'm watching Homer and all these guys play. It was a big deal for me. And it was the only year I've ever played.
And you know what's funny too is Clarky was there, because sometimes he would be there, and he's sitting on the bleachers, and when Homer did that, he's just going. Just laughing, and I'm like, "You're not helping the fucking situation here, man." It was hilarious.
Clarky would just be there in case somebody's wires crossed. My dad's, Homer's, possibly mine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Toughest basketball league in
it was
in New Jersey.
It was, the boys went all, and it was outdoor too, so it was 100 degrees all the time at night, 6 o'clock at night, and it was a hell of a workout. That's kind of what I got out of it. I loved it though.
Yeah, it was fun.
Talk about your connection to Clarky. I know your dad was pretty tight with him, and did he run Clarky's gym there, or the old one?
Yeah, so they had been friends, for as long as I can remember, and I can remember going back to the World Cup of hockey. Him helping us get to the Team USA practices when they were all shut down and stuff. So he's just always been good friends with my dad. I think my dad, I can't imagine being Clarky. I'm sure, when you're in that position for that long, there's a lot of people looking for handouts in any sense of the word. But I think he realized my dad wasn't one of those guys, and just always kind of enjoyed being around them. My dad was just a member at the gym. That's how they kind of met, and became friends. And, after all the stuff with my family, Clarky was like, "When you get out, there's a position for you at the gym," right? He helped them in that sense. So they were close, and that was where my connection came from. Part of the thing about playing hockey in New Jersey is you never know how good you are, because you don't know who you're playing against. And I knew I could play, and I knew I was good enough to go to development camp with, at 15 with the Flyers. And I was like, okay, these guys are really good, but maybe I can do this. And Clarky was one of the first. It was like, you're not going to college, you're going to the OHL, and then you're going to be a top 10 pick. But I just, I didn't know that. Wow. So he kind of helped me go to Owen Sound and kind of realize some of the potential. But probably the best thing for me was that it didn't matter who was on the ice wearing a Flyers uniform. What he made clear to every single person there was, that kid skates when he wants with who he wants. And it doesn't matter if it's John LeClaire or Patrick Sharp, right? There's room for him on every ice. And took care of me in that sense. And like, I think he realized like I had the drive, right? I was taking the train to go and then rollerblading from the train to the rink every day to skate with you guys. So as long as I put in the work, he was going to look out for me and continues to do that. So a person I catch up with every time. So it's just been a really nice friendship for me to have. It's hard for me even to put aside that it's Bobby Clarke sometimes. Like it's just Clarke. It's just Clarke to me, right? Like Dad's a good friend that's helped me, but when you go to dinner and he's having a couple beers and you're chatting him up about everything hockey, you're like, it's fucking Bobby Clarke. Like it's still pretty cool. So just been somebody that's been helped my family out and did it not ever expecting anything in return. Just always I think you guys know he's just one of the best people you're ever going to come across. So really enjoyed my time getting to know him all these years.
Yeah, not a bad mentor there.
He's not at all. No,
he's an unbelievable man. And he's the reason I was able to do my job for 26 years. He got me, he was friends with my dad and they started that team, but he didn't have to give me a job. Like I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And he gave me that shot. And, I always say that, I thank him because he did a lot for me as well over the years. Not just that, you know how you guys both know how good of a man he is. You go to him for something, you ask for one thing, he's going to give you three things,
exactly.
He's just that kind of a guy.
Yes,
and never wants anything in return.
Never going to ask you for anything.
Just if you need a hand, I got you. Don't worry about it. He's awesome.
Definitely nothing self-serving about him.
No, not at all.
Right on. Well, we want to be respectful of your time there, Bobby. We appreciate you carving out the time. I know you got a big surgery tomorrow and a road to recovery ahead of you, but really do appreciate you hopping on, and it's nice to reconnect, man. Nice to see you.
You too, man. Yeah, you too. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to my Instagram clip. I'll see myself on there.
You've got a few. We already talked about that today. You've got a few that'll be on there, man. And we do appreciate it, Didge. Like we really do, man. I know that sucks you're having surgery, man, but you're going to be 100% better. And next year, fucking lighten it up.
Let's hope so, boys. And let me know when I can pop back on post surgery. Every time you want like a 10-minute clip, I'm your guy. I got nothing to do.
Dude, you don't have to ask twice, man.
Just pop on. All right.
Bobby 2.0. Let's do it.
That's it.
All right. Glad you're doing well.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, brother.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
All right, Riggs. That episode with Bobby Digital was brought to you by Manscaped. Flowers are blooming, the grass is growing, and it's time to chop the weeds, baby. Thanks to our sponsor, Manscaped, you can trim your holes safely and efficiently. That's a whoo boy. You're trimming your holes. You're trimming your holes. Anyway, I am talking about ball trimmers. Manscaped, the global leaders in men's below the waist grooming, have an exclusive offer for our audience. Use code Knuckles to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Join the other 2 million men who trust Manscaped. They are here to make sure you are trimmed and smelling nice. After all, it's time for some spring cleaning. Riggs, you better get on it.
Already am, Nast.
All right. Spring has sprung and Manscaped has the best tools to get you ready. Our friends at Manscaped always want me to tell a story. I've told about 7. I don't have many more because I switched over to Manscaped. You can only slice your testicles so many times. And I learned my lesson and I jumped to Manscaped, and that's why I'm so freshly smooth and clean.
Wily old veteran over there.
Oh, yeah. Manscaped are the global leaders in men's below-the-waist grooming and have forever changed the grooming game with their amazing products. They are here to help you with your above-the-waist holes, too. Riles, I guess that means your belly button, buddy. Have you heard of their Weed Whacker? This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. No more gross.
Take care of those holes, Nast.
You got to
take care of those holes.
You have to. If you're going to be digging into holes, you got to take care of them. No more gross nose hairs flying in the wind. The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. Manscaped is making whacking your weeds a time to look forward to delivering maximum confidence while providing hygiene. Speaking of incredible hygiene, Riggs, Manscaped has formulations to keep you fresh and ready for everything that comes your way all day. The Crop Preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. Wow, is it awesome. It's starting to get hot outside, and this is crucial so your balls stop sticking to your leg. You do not want your balls sticking to your leg, man. I'm telling you.
You don't want that.
That's the legit worst. You'll also find the Crop Reviver spray-on toner for your balls, which will keep you smelling fresh down there, just like spring flowers. Speaking of smelling fresh, complete your grooming game this spring with the new refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. This stuff is legit and will have you smelling like royalty.
It's quite the package.
It is. I mean, isn't it? It really is. The cologne is light, approachable, and gentlemanly in all the right ways. You'll be the talk of the next quarantine hang. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code KNUCKLES at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code KNUCKLES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code KNUCKLES at manscaped.com. It's spring cleaning, baby, and your balls will thank you. All right. We thank Bobby Ryan Riggs for joining us this week for a great episode.
Yeah, it was nice to reconnect with him. Glad he's doing well outside of the unfortunate injury, season ender. But other than that, it sounds like he's doing very well in his personal life and obviously in his hockey career up until his injury. But yeah, it was great to see him. It's been a while for me anyways.
Yeah, it's I've been lucky enough to see him a few times a year, but obviously I haven't seen him in over a year now. But I'm happy for him. It sucks he got hurt because, like he said, there were some teams interested in him. I had spoken to him before and he had said that, so kind of sucks that way. But you know what? He'll be 100% when the time comes for next year, and he's still got some years in him. I think he's just too skilled of a guy, and he's taking better care of himself, like he said. I think there's teams out there that definitely could use him.
Oh yeah, no, I'm thinking that he takes this injury the right way, and he learns from it, and he comes back stronger. I mean, he said he's an older, more mature version of himself, where he's taking care of his body. So, the rehab and the recovery component will, will be all good. And like you said, he's got such amazing mitts that it's hard to shelf those that early. So I know they signed him $1 million for this 1 year, but so someone will take a chance on him. Again, he's a good veteran guy, and he just the last couple of years been a little bit rough for him, right? I mean, he goes through his substance abuse treatment program there, and then halfway through half of a season he's hurt. So chalk it up as a couple bad years, and he'll be fresh, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, like now he's taking care of himself. Like he said, he wasn't like he was going every day, but it was just even you, like you said, I just feel better, like from no alcohol. So like you said, I think his recovery will be better, obviously, because if it was a year ago, what would he do? He'd probably have a few cocktails, right? He'd have a few cocktails, and we all know that doesn't help any kind of rehab that you're trying to do.
No.
Not to, be a nerd or anything, but it's just the truth. It's like,
it's the truth. You have to be honest with it, right? I mean,
exactly.
The reason why so many guys struggle with alcohol is that there's a fine line there of, having a party and when the party takes over, right? So
it can happen quick.
It happens, it happens, and he recognized it, and he got help. And like you said, though, if you're being honest about treating any injury and recovering and regenerating, especially as an older guy where your metabolism's slower, you don't repair and regenerate as quickly, you have to go above and beyond. And he's already in that position. I think he understands his body. He's sober. He'll at least be medicating say just taking care of himself, medicating the right way. Yeah,
he's funny. We could have gone on forever with him. Just we've known him so long, and but the one thing I meant to say, and we just kind of just try to be respectful of his time, because we had him on here for a while. But one of the funny things is you're talking about how good his hands are. So being on the bench, as you know, as a player and a trainer, you got to pay attention. We spoke about this with Fridge catching that puck that time, it happens. I mean, you've seen coaches, trainers, everybody. I was one that if I saw a guy coming to the red line, I was going down. I'm ducking. I don't care. I got hit. I got clipped enough times that I'm like, it does not feel good.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago in Ottawa, and I meant to say it because we laughed about it after the game. He's coming to get the line. He needs a change, and he's a right-handed shot, and he goes to dump it right at the red line. And I see it's him. And in my head, I'm like, hey, it's not coming on the bench.
Yeah.
It's Bobby.
Right.
He's going to dump it in. Well, just at that time, and it may have been Schultz. It may have been like 3 years ago. I can't remember what D-man it was, but they just stuck their stick out for some reason. Well, as they do that and he's letting it go, here it comes right in the bench.
Oh, ramps up.
And the guys, it just missed the guys. And I'm like, usually I just go down if I know a guy's going to dump it, but I didn't when I saw it was Bobby. Well, I should have. So I just get turned and it hits me right in the elbow. I mean, right on that bone. And I don't have to tell you how bad it feels when a puck hits you, but I had like obviously no elbow pads on. It hit me and my arm went numb like immediately, but it hurt so bad, but I didn't want to look like a wuss. So I'm like, oh, it's like kind of to myself, and the guys are like turn and Bobby skates by the bench and goes, suck it, nasty. Like,
no way.
Yeah, I swear to God. And I'm
classic.
I'm like, F you, no big deal, right? So I'm standing there. I just
didn't even flinch though, hey? You just toughed it out.
I mean, I went, and then I'm feeling it, and I'm like, 100%, this is shattered. Like, there's no way it's not. And I look, and I just turned because I didn't want to, like I said, I didn't want to be like, oh. So I was trying to, put my arm down, and he says, suck it. And it made me laugh, and all the guys start laughing on the bench. Yeah. And then I'm like, I waited about 5 seconds, and I turned the corner because the hallway's right there in Ottawa where I would stand on the bench. And as soon as I got under that canopy, I went down to my knees, and I'm just holding my arm. I'm like, oh my God, it's got to be broken. So I went back and I put ice in a bag and I wrapped it around my elbow and then put a coat on so nobody could see I had ice on it. It hurt for 2 weeks, man. I got it x-rayed because I thought
no one knew how bad it really hurt.
Oh my. And
it wasn't like a joke because
it wasn't
suck
like
it nasty.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like a flipper. I mean, it came
right on, yeah.
Snapped it and it hit. I couldn't believe it didn't break my elbow. But anyway, I meant to say
that's a sensitive spot too, right back there.
Man.
Oh my God.
It hurts so bad, man.
Oh,
but anyway, it was just
we'll have to bring it up on Bobby Ditch 2.0 next time we bring him up.
Exactly. And we're going to just do that thing. One more shout out to my boy Colin Felix at UMass. I forgot to put the hat on.
Oh yeah.
Champs, baby.
Nice looking lid.
Yeah, he sent that to me a couple of years ago.
Beauty.
But yeah, Bobby, what a great guy, man. It's great to see him doing so well. And his dad's a good friend of ours, man.
Yep. Great
guy. Can't say enough about both of them. And his mom was an awesome woman too. I met her a few times, and so anyway, it was great. I thought it was a great episode. I really enjoyed talking to him. Like I said, we could have kept going. Many stories with him, but great guy.
Yeah, I thought it was a great one too. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. That wraps up episode 18 of Nasty Knuckles. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 19. Until then, stay safe and have a little fun.
See you, knuckleheads.
Knuckleheads.